Do this again. As I said before, I'm Vision here at Blind Entertainment, bringing you guys our next live stream. So definitely come on in, check it out. Taking some Q&As and talk about all things entertainment. So if you're coming in, or definitely give me any questions you might have, anything relating to entertainment that's going on, D23, anything. Let me know and we can have a nice discussion about it, and we can just hang out and talk. So let me know if you have anything you want to talk about in the comment section, and we can chit chat. But if not, it can be an early night and we don't have to do this. But if you want to come in, talk, we can. We'll just have some fun. HQ. You're leaving. David, good to see you. How's everything? I'm good. Everything's good with me. Just got back from vacation actually earlier today and had some time tonight, so decided to do a live stream. So that's why I'm here. Hope everything's good with you. Um, okay, let's see. As I said before, I'm Vision here with Blind Entertainment. Taking any questions you might have, anything you might want to talk about, I'm here and we can chit chat. Thank you, David. Yeah, it was a nice vacation. Just like a 5-day vacation. Nothing too big, but, just wanted to get something in before, the end of summer. Oh, yeah, I heard about Spider-Man. Yeah, that sucks. I was so annoyed about that. Part of me was hoping that it was just like some kind of tactic between Sony and Disney to get hype, and then today at D23 have them reveal some big news. Unfortunately, that was not the case, but I was kind of holding out hope that that would be what was going on. Like I said, unfortunately, that was not what happened, which I'm kind of disappointed at, but I'm really hoping that they end up sooner or later coming up with some kind of deal or something with Sony. Either way, Sony will either make the Spider-Man movies and Marvel will undercut them, or Marvel will just buy out Sony eventually, like they did with 20th Century Fox. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if that's what happened there. But yeah, definitely upset and disappointed in regards to Sony and Spider-Man, because I really did love Tom Holland in that role. Really, really great actor, and he just really portrayed Spider-Man in a very good light, that I think, at least. I think he did a great job as Spider-Man. What you got there, David? I can understand that Daniel wanted to punch people at Sony. Yeah, yeah, it is frustrating. Um, yeah, that I could understand that. Yeah, that was kind of sucky. But we did get some good, cool, and interesting news though at D23 in regards to Marvel and the MCU. At least I thought they had some good and cool reveals today in regards to all their different products and upcoming movies and Disney Plus series. I think that they did do good. I feel like in one area they were trying to, take the attention away from the Spider-Man stuff. Even though I don't think that was planned, I think that they sort of did it in a way. Like I said, I don't think they planned that, but I think it kind of intentionally took away from the Spider-Man thing, even though the Spider-Man issue isn't going to go away anytime soon. No, David, from what I've heard is that Disney does not own the rights to Spider-Man. Um, from what I heard is that back in the, I think it was in the 90s, Marvel was going bankrupt. So they sold off a bunch of their properties to different people. So Sony got Spider-Man, Universal Pictures got Hulk and all the Hulk properties, and 20th Century Fox got like the X-Men and Fantastic Four. And so that's how that worked out. At least that's how I understand it. So Sony technically owns the rights to Spider-Man. They just made a deal with Marvel back in what 2014, 2015 to allow Spider-Man to appear in the MCU. At least that's what I was told and what I've read. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But yeah, from what I understand, no, Marvel and Disney do not own the rights to Spider-Man, so they wouldn't be able to do any Disney Plus shows in regards to Spider-Man. But like I said, I think eventually it'll end up Marvel sooner or later will get the rights to Spider-Man. I thought Sony had just four films. Here's what I find interesting: is Sony, from what I understand and what I've been reading about, is Sony holds the film rights to Spider-Man, and that's how they are able to make Spider-Man films and all that stuff. But for some reason, I think I read somewhere that like Disney or whatever owns like the merchandising rights to Spider-Man and stuff like that. I don't really know how that works. But yeah, they own Sony owns the film rights to Spider-Man. So Disney can't just say, "Oh, we're gonna make a Spider-Man film," because they don't own the rights to Spider-Man movies. Sony does. But yeah, that's another thing I find interesting that they're able to have merchandising rights, but yet Sony has the film distribution rights. And all honesty, I feel like Sony sucks at any kind of advertising stuff because I don't even know any Sony products that are coming out in the near future. What is it? I think Jumanji and is Zombieland Sony or Columbia Pictures. I'm not sure, but I think they're like the two up and coming Sony movies. They do. Yeah. But yeah, I think Sony is doing very bad because I think Sony also includes Columbia Pictures, which is doing Zombieland, and I think they're sucking, honestly. Like, I feel like even with like advertising, like I went to see a movie a few weeks ago. Well, I forget what movie it was, but they showed Jumanji before it, and like I don't think anybody yet knows that movie's coming out. Zombieland. It took forever for a trailer to come out. Like it took until I think what was it mid August, end of July for a trailer to come out. I'm sorry, but a Zombieland trailer should have come out like I don't know maybe May June. Now like July August 2 months prior. I want to go see what is it Angel Has Fallen, and that trailer came out I think it was May June, and that just came out. Like they should have done it way before. Ghostbusters. Oh god, don't get me started on that one. Yep, they sucked at Ghostbusters. They sucked there pretty bad. And that's one of the reasons I think that they ended up making the deal with Sony for Spider-Man is that they saw how bad Ghostbusters did. Wait, Ghostbusters 2016. Never mind. I take back what I said because they ended up doing that deal due to how bad the Amazing Spider-Man ended up doing. That's what happened there. No, but I feel like right now, of everything going on, Sony they screwed up big time. And I know people are saying that Marvel doesn't deserve this, but I do agree that I think Marvel does deserve 50%. Because think about it. Like I said, Sony sucks at merchandising and, getting the idea out there and, putting it out there. And, like, people don't know what's going on. Yeah, they, over there, Kevin Feige and all them are doing do all this hard work. Marvel's this big thing. And I say Sony screwed up. They they got lucky with Venom in my opinion. They got lucky there. and they saw that that did good, and they thought, well, we can get Spider-Man back. It's gonna blow up in their face, and they're gonna be screwed up either way. That's at least my opinions, and I believe Sony will end up suffering. Marvel and Disney know how to undercut people. Look at the DC universe. Look at this year in particular. DC says that they're going to do Shazam, which used to be Captain Marvel. What does Marvel do? They put out Captain Marvel a month in advance. What did they do? DC said that they're going to do, what is it, New Gods? Marvel comes out saying that they're doing the Eternals. So they can undercut. DC, they're going to undercut whatever Sony puts out there in regards to Spider Man. Spider Man is going to flop under Sony. I can almost guarantee it. Marvel will undercut everything that they do try to put out, and either two things are either going to come out of this. Either Marvel is going to end up in the near future, or Disney buying out Sony Pictures, or they're going to have to crawl back and make a new deal. Which at that point, Sony is in the wrong. Sony's going to suffer at that point because they screwed up and going to be the ones crawling back. So they're going to suffer in the end of the day, at least in my opinion. But you know, they chose their side, and at this point, whatever's going to happen to them is going to happen because they chose whatever side they wanted to do, and it's going to come back to bite them. Marvel Studios did most of the work. I don't get people siding with Sony. Yeah, I don't get that either. Because I feel like I agree on that one. I feel like Marvel and Kevin Feige did all the heavy lifting. And I feel like this is that Marvel deserved that 20%. They deserved it. Because think about it. I get it. I get it. They own the rights, and they should own that Marvel's practically borrowing Spider-Man. But at the same time, if it wasn't for Marvel, Spider-Man would be a dead property to you. Like, Spider-Man would be dead if it wasn't for Marvel at this point. They revitalized Spider-Man. And I get it what people are saying that Sony, Sony owns it, so they should have a more say. But I do believe that Marvel should have equal say in what goes on with Spider-Man. I do believe that. Who was I watching on YouTube the other day? Sean Chandler. He was saying that Marvel was being the bully. I do not believe that Marvel was being the bully. I think they deserve half of the rights, even going down to maybe like 40%. I think that should be given as well. 30% if you want to go lowest, but I don't think anything below 30% Marvel deserves. 30% to 50% I think Marvel should have, and that's just my opinion because I feel like give each side equal to the same amount of rights to the property, or at least have that deal be equal. Because I don't think Sony should have all the rights and then Marvel get like barely nothing. From what I heard, the original deal was like Marvel had like 5%, which I think was idiotic and stupid. Now, I do believe, like I said, Marvel deserves 50% of the rights. However, I will say this in Marvel's going against Marvel is I feel like they came to the table way too high. Because when you ask for 50%, there's no place else to go. Like, you can't go higher because I don't think they should get higher than that. But you can't go lower at the same time. You have to go lower at the same time. Otherwise, you're going to lose everything you tried to bargain for. So I do believe that they should have come in at a lower price and then negotiated up to 50%. I think that would have helped them and maybe gotten them the deal they wanted. But at the end of the day, this is where we are, and unfortunately, we lost Spider-Man. I say Robert Storm said same thing. No, I don't. I don't watch Robert. No, I never actually heard of him until you just mentioned that. No, I did not. I don't. I'd never heard of his channel actually. I might check him out though. But yeah, in regards to the Spider-Man deal, like I said though, they should have started like at say 20 or 30 and negotiated up to 50%. Because I don't think them coming in at 50% helped their cause. Because if they had come in smaller, they could have negotiated their way up and made that 50% deal. I think that they deserve. But I think they screwed up a bit with the 50% because at that point you have to go lower. Otherwise, there's no way they're going to give you more than 50%. And I don't think Marvel should have more than that. I think having at least 30 to 50% of the deal is fine. I do not believe Marvel should have more than that. But that's just me. Yeah, I don't side with Sony, but I can at least understand why they didn't take the deal the way they did, because I get it. Because like I said, Marvel came in too high, and I feel like they did kind of like, in a way they kind of were like, you know what, you work for us now, which in a way shouldn't be the case. I feel like, again, Sony owns the property. If anything, Marvel should own that, should work for them. But I don't think that should happen either. I think they should have equal say. I don't think either side should work for either side. I don't think Sony should work for Marvel, nor do I think Marvel should work for Sony. I think that they both should work in conjunction with each other. I don't think that anybody should, work for, in this circumstances. I don't think they should work for each other, or one work for the other person. I think they should work in conjunction with each other, and that would be the best case scenario, at least in my opinion. But I don't know. I'm hoping we got more. I think, what is it, in October? New York Comic Con's coming up. I think there's a possibility if they can get their stuff together, because I feel like New York Comic Con's probably one of the second biggest Comic Cons next to like San Diego. I think New York if they work their stuff out by then, we could maybe get some news regarding a new deal. But they'd have to get something out, because I do believe if they got their stuff together, we could hear something at New York Comic Con, because in my opinion, that's like the second biggest Comic Con out there. I know there's some other ones, but you never really hear about them. New York Comic Con's probably like the biggest one next to San Diego Comic Con, at least in my opinion. But I think if they get their stuff together, we could definitely get something going on there, and maybe get Spider-Man back in the Marvel universe, which I really hope happens. But yeah, those are basically my opinions on that. Um, but on the topic of Marvel, they did, even though they lost Spider Man, I will say they did have some great news coming out today in regards to their their new Disney Plus shows and the release date for Black Panther 2, which of course was no surprise. That made a ton of money. There was no way that was not going to get a sequel. I was very excited about that. I was definitely, one thing I was surprised about was when it was announced that it was coming out. If you missed it, Black Panther 2 is coming in May 6th of 2022, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but yeah, that's something I'm excited for. Black Panther I really did like, and Moon Knight. Yeah, I'm excited for that one. I think if I had to rank what I'm excited for right now, I think, ooh, I'm gonna say, in regards to the three new shows that have just been announced, I think Moon Knight would probably be the one I'm most excited for. Then I might go for Miss Marvel next, and then She Hulk at the bottom, just because I don't know much about She Hulk or Miss Marvel, but I kind of have a little bit more interest in Miss Marvel than She Hulk. One thing I'm confused about though is how are they able to make a She Hulk TV series? Because She Hulk, from what I understand, or at least the Hulk properties, belong to Universal Pictures. So unless they kind of made up a deal behind the scenes and didn't say anything, how do they have the rights to She Hulk? Because from what I understand, all the Hulk properties like Red Hulk, the Hulk that we have, all belong to Universal Pictures. I know that's the reason why we never got a Hulk sequel and all that stuff. So I'm kind of confused. I'm hoping we get some news about that. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Either way, we're getting a She-Hulk TV series. So, there's that. Yeah, At least that's what I've heard. I don't know the like specifics, but I've at least heard that the Hulk properties were somewhat in the hands of Universal. Um, which honestly, if you want my opinion, I'm surprised that Marvel hasn't been able to get access to the Hulk properties. Just think about it. Hulk came out what 11 years ago, the Incredible Hulk, and they haven't made. Well, maybe it's just due to the fact that Marvel is working with them, but they haven't made any Hulk films. So wouldn't the rights be reversed back to Disney and Marvel? I don't know. I honestly don't know really how that stuff works. But I would have thought that they would have reversed back to Marvel at this point, but I don't honestly know unless I missed something. But yeah, excited for She Hulk, Miss Marvel, interested in, but Moon Knight definitely I'm excited for. I was kind of hoping for a movie, but a TV series is just as fun because that could go on for God knows however. They could keep that going, and with how big the DC's Marvel is, they could keep those TV series going for years to come, and I don't think people would be upset with that. So yeah, all that stuff was great news. Um, I did put out a poll on Twitter today, or was yeah this morning or this afternoon, I forget when, asking which one of the three TV series everyone was most excited with, and as of right now, all three of them are tied. So not much to go off of that. I set that poll to go off at tomorrow, so maybe we'll get some more votes in and we can get more of an idea. But yeah, some great news. Excited for what might come with all these with Marvel because I think they're definitely on a roll. And like I said, they're gonna be king for a long time. There's nothing that's gonna stop them anytime soon. Uh, but yeah, they are definitely the kings. Yeah, they'll definitely be king of the box office for the next 10 years. I mean, if you look at everything that's coming, at least in Phase 4, movie wise, Black Widow's probably going to clean up just due to the fact that she's a fan favorite. If you want my honest opinion, and this is not me shading Black Widow or anything, that's probably the Phase 4 movie that I honestly have the least excitement for. And it's not that I don't like Black Widow, but we know she's dead, at least. Spoiler alert for anybody out there, sorry. But we know she's dead. So when you put out a movie where we know the outcome, I feel like there's not as heavy of stakes in that movie because you know what she's gonna survive at the end of the day. She's not gonna die in her movie. She's gonna make it so she can be in Infinity War and Endgame. So that kind of diminishes some things for me. But I will at least check it out. Definitely probably be a good movie because of course all Marvel movies are. But just that kind of, at least for me, kind of diminishes or at least takes away some of the stakes of the movie. Then we got the Eternals. I'm excited for that one. They got a good, cast. Got all these big names. Jessica, what was it? Angelina Jolie, Selma Hayek, um, Kumal Nanjiani, which I probably just butchered his name. Roger, what was it? Richard Madden. He's gonna be in it. And then it was announced today that Game of Thrones star Kit Harington will be playing Black Knight. So they got, oh, and of course Warren Radcliffe from The Walking Dead is gonna be in it. So they got like an ace, like an all star team. Like they got like almost like some of the biggest names in Hollywood being in that movie. Now, the one thing that I found interesting with the casting, because we got the casting announcement for Cersei today, and the one thing I'm really confused about is that the actress who's gonna play Cersei, from what I understand, she already played a role in Captain Marvel as Mini Irva. Now I know Mini Irva isn't like that big of a character, but but at least in my opinion, it's like wait what? Because like why would you cast someone who's already been in the Marvel universe. Like, doesn't that like break like the rules or like the fourth wall or something? Cause like it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why would they cast someone who's already in the MCU or at least was in this role? Just doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, I think the Eternals could be the next Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, I think that people are underestimating them, and that they are gonna be like the next Guardians. I'm gonna be honest. When I first heard about the Eternals, I honestly didn't really care, but once I saw like the cast and all this stuff, once we got to San Diego Comic Con this year, I finally cared, and it was like I'm excited. Then we go into the following year, and we got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Now, I know I said that the Eternals were something I didn't care about, but when I first heard it, this was probably at the bottom of my list. I had zero care for Shang-Chi for like I don't know how long. But then they announced that it was gonna be have the Ten Rings and the real Mandarin in it, and that like jumped it up to like my second most anticipated movie. And then after that, we got Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Now, Doctor Strange is one of my favorite Marvel characters, so I am excited for that. It's supposed to be the first scary movie, which I'm not big into scary movies, but I'm assuming it's Marvel, Disney. It's probably not gonna be like that scary, so for me, probably be fine. And then the final movie in Phase 4, I think, is Thor: Love and Thunder. Now, I'm interested in it. I know there's like this whole controversy going on around about Jane Foster becoming the new Thor. Um, I'm not gonna like get into that. I think it's cool. Fine, I'm fine with it. I don't, you know, I'm excited for it. I get people might not be happy with it, but that's not what I'm going to talk about. My only issue with that is I don't really love the name. Like Love and Thunder, just sounds stupid to me. I kind of wish they had gone with something different. Maybe that's something to do with the comics. But to me, it just sounds like a dumb name. What do we got here? The Beyonders. Yeah, they'd be cool to be in here. One character that I am desperately waiting to see be brought in, and I'm kind of shocked and sad that they haven't announced it for Phase 4 or 5 is Nova. I am dying to get Nova in the MCU, and I was really shocked that they didn't have a Nova film slated for Phase 4. Sure, we don't know much about Phase 5, so it definitely could be coming, but I'm just shocked because we know the Nova Corp was destroyed in Endgame or Infinity War, so I'm just surprised that they'd push Nova back so for this long. Because at this point, we're not getting Nova until 2022 at the earliest if they have it planned for that. At which point it'd be what 2019, 2020, at least 4 years since Infinity War, where it was announced that that happened, so I feel like that's a long time to wait for a Nova movie. At least that's what I think. What do we got here, David? Uh, I thought Jane Foster as Thor is great. Um, love Jason Aaron's run. I never read the comics, so I might have to at least like get like look into it. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it either. Um, So yeah, I'm definitely interested in that. And Nova is definitely gonna. I'm so excited for. I'm just again shocked that Nova wasn't put in for Phase 4, hoping early Phase 5, but who knows? Because we know that they want to do Fantastic 4. Captain Marvel's gonna be coming. We know Blade's coming. So they got a whole bunch of stuff. From what we know, the X-Men aren't coming until probably 2023, but they'll probably at least maybe do a Wolverine solo film first, at least to maybe be like the prequel to the X-Men. So that might be coming. I'm honestly not sure. And we know Guardians of the Galaxy, the third one, is coming out. So they got a lot, and I'm just surprised Nova hasn't been added in there somewhere. Because think about it. We know you got Black Panther. We know you got Guardians 3. We know they got Captain Marvel 2. And what else is coming out? Blade. So that's 4 movies right there. And Fantastic Four. That's 5. And Nova not to be anywhere in that mix is shocking. I don't get it. Like it's like, why not have Nova here? It just makes zero sense. I don't get it. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I just don't know because I don't really read Marvel comics. So maybe I'm missing something, but I'm just shocked at that. So, what do we got here? Phase 7. I think it'll be earlier, David. I honestly do. I think one thing that helped X-Men be pushed up sooner, at least, is the fact that Dark Phoenix flopped. If Dark Phoenix did great at the box office, we'd be getting X-Men probably sooner. Um, but I think X-Men will be pretty soon, honestly. X-Men, Dark Phoenix, killed it for me. Um, yeah, I understand that. I understand a lot of people didn't like Dark Phoenix. I'm probably gonna be the minority here and say I thought it was a decent movie. I don't think it was like the great like Days of Future Past, but I don't think it was like horrible like Last Stand or X Men Origins Wolverine. I don't think it was like that bad. I think it was that like in the middle. I don't think it was horrible, but I don't think it was like great. I just think it's okay, good. It's in the middle there. And I can understand why people might not like it, but I thought, for an X Men movie, it was decent, it was good, and it did what it did. The thing I'm disappointed probably in the most is that I feel like the Fox X Men movie should have gone out with a bang, but it really didn't. It kind of just went out with like a whimper, and that kind of sucks for a franchise that had been around for 19 years. But at the end of the day, you know, shit happens. So then you got the whole debacle of the New Mutants. At this point, I think they should just drop New Mutants onto Disney Plus. I honestly believe that because at this point they pushed it back so long. I honestly don't. I think if think about it, how bad that Dark Phoenix did. I feel like if you have this, if you have New Mutants come out, it's gonna do just as bad. And I feel like Marvel and Disney can't afford that, so I think they should just drop it on the Disney Plus and call it a day, and then just move on to the X Men. At least that's my opinion. I know everybody has their own little things here and there regarding how they should do that, but to me, just drop it there. It's not worth it at this point. Sure, there are people out there that care and want to see it, but I feel like it's pretty small. Just drop it to Disney Plus, in my opinion, right now. Um, 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 where was I? Yeah. Okay. Nothing. All right. Sorry about that. I just had to check something. Um, but yeah, I think X Men will be coming in soon. I actually did not read Letter 44. I've been busy. I apologize. I want to, and I was at least gonna read the description, but I bet it's just been crazy lately for me, so I didn't get to read Letter 44. I definitely started on my list to check out. Just I haven't gotten to it yet. Stuff happens, like I said. Um, but yeah, I've been trying to get caught up on comics. I've almost got caught up with Farmhand. I got issue 10 and then I'll be all caught up. And then I'm hoping to get caught up on Gideon Falls within the next couple days. I finally got issue 12, which I wasn't able to get from my comic store originally. They finally got a copy in for me. So I'm hoping to get that in as soon as possible and finish that up. Thanks, David. Yeah, I'm gonna, you know, everything right now, things are just crazy right now. I've been trying to get out videos, and I don't know why I just can't. I got a few pre-recorded. I meant to have them go up recently, and it just escapes my mind. I got one that I'm hoping to get. I think I'll stay up extra late tonight. Try to get it, you know, edited and have it up by like noon Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. For Fear the Walking Dead, if you're a fan of that. I meant to have it up like 2 weeks ago, and it never ended up happening. The one was very emotional. Ooh, that sounds interesting. At least that sounds. Usually, when they have emotional arcs, or emotional issues, those are some of the biggest ones. Um, I remember so far. I think only one comic issue has ever made me cry, or at least made me start to get like teary eyed. And I think that what issue was that? It was Animosity. I think it was issue 14, and they give you and they it was like the whole issue was the backstory to one of the villains, and like it actually made you feel for the guy and understand why he was doing the things he was doing, and it really got me to the point where I was like, I felt bad for the guy, and I was like, he didn't deserve what he deserved. Like that happened to me reading that issue. I gotta say, if you're not reading Animosity, you should check it out at least. I know it's not for everybody, but to me, it's one of the greatest books that Aftershock has done. And in my opinion, it's the book that put Aftershock Comics on the map. Like, I feel like they had other books, but I feel like this came out and it's what pushed them out there and got their name out there. So I highly recommend that. And plus, Legendary is making it into a movie. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, I highly recommend Animosity. I was gonna do a video talking about recommend like a comic suggestion video for it that still will probably go up someday. Like I got the thumbnail all prepared for that, just haven't like recorded it yet. But yeah, what do you got here? You're on volume 2 of that. Ah, it's good. Volume 2, I remember, was a pretty creepy issue. At least in my opinion, it was very interesting. Hold on, what we got here? Oh, not my area. Never mind. Got an alert, and I was like, "Oh, that didn't look good." But beside the point, it's not where I live, so that doesn't bother me very much. Um, but yeah, yeah, it is a good series. Yeah, um, it is a really great series. Animosity. Um, I'm surprised not a whole lot of people read it, and I understand like it's a weird book because it's got like this post-apocalyptic vibe, but at the same time, the main protagonist is like this young girl. So I can understand why like some people might not be into it, but I think you got to give it a chance. Give it. I always say give a book like at least 2 to maybe 3 volumes, and then at least that point you can finally make your determine if it's your kind of book or not. What do we got here? Yeah, a little like Walking Dead. Yeah, I wouldn't. I would say The Walking Dead. I would say it's a little bit tamer than The Walking Dead, but it definitely has those post-apocalyptic vibes. Um, season 2 or volume 2 of Animosity was really creepy. But then you got into what was it, volume 3? Volume 3 had a very interesting take on a certain group of animals, and it was very interesting. And then what was it, volume 4? I think volume 4. I think I'm not sure because around that time they kind of moved around, sort of weird with the storyline. But volume 4, now that was a very interesting volume with one of the communities they ran into and what they were doing with certain people. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but they had a very. If you watch Walking Dead series, in a way, it kind of was like Terminus, but not like the cannibalism idea. It just imagine like kidnapping people and forcing them to do certain jobs for people. That's what that community was like. Just imagine that. Now, where are we right now? I haven't read issue 21 or 22, and God, I when I read issue 20 though, that it made my skin crawl with the new like, and I don't know if they're antagonists yet or they're just like, people that they're trying to work with, but oh God, that issue made my skin crawl. It just made my skin crawl. It was really creepy. What do we got here? What you write, David? Uh, that's what shocked me. Shocked me. Yeah. Um. Yeah. They have. I feel like they have done some great stuff with animosity, and in one area, I'm annoyed that they made it into a movie because I don't want them to cut out certain things. But at the same time, I do want to see it on the big screen. It'd be cool to see animosity on the big screen. Yeah, get like that with the crying issue and creepy. Yeah. Um I'm one thing I'm curious about animosity though is it gonna be a live action movie or are they gonna do like an animated movie? Because that's one thing I'm interested in. I hope they do live action, but if they do animated, I think that'd be okay too. The only issue with the animated is I feel like it would confuse people like with kids and think it's okay to see it with their kids, which it probably isn't. So I kind of hope they do live action, but at the same time, I think doing action with animals that can talk and whatever, it's a little odd. Because if you look back to what people said about like Lion King this past few months ago, where like you couldn't feel like the emotions when you look into the animals, I think that you could have a similar issue with animosity, which is somewhat why I kind of hope they do it animated, but at the same time, I would like live action. Live action, um, yeah, I could see that. I could honestly see that. If they do live action though, I want them to get who was it, John Favreau, who did Jungle Book and Lion King, because he really made it come to life. Like those movies, you believe that those animals are real. So if they do live action of Animosity, they better get him to do it because if I don't know anybody else who could make it look as realistic as he did. But yeah, but the also thing I want them to take their time doing, if they no matter if it's live action or if it's animated, is they got to get the voice acting correctly. Because at least in my like everybody's different though, but I have this like certain idea of how like Sander and Jesse and all these different characters talk. So like at least I know everybody has their own idea of what they sound like in their head, but to me I have this certain distinction of how they talk, and certain actors I kind of hope they get to play them. What do you got? Kingdom. I've heard of Black Hammer, but I haven't checked out any of those other ones. Um, Honestly, Black Hammer, I've heard about it. Again, go. I've mentioned this before. Um, I'm not a big fan of books that have you know what advertisements in the middle, and Dark Horse does that with their books. So I kind of, unless it's a book I'm really interested in, I kind of stay away from them. But I might check it out one day and trade at least. Um, um, that's all right. I can get what you're meaning. But yeah, these are there. I think you gotta be a big indie comic fan. Yeah, Dark Horse is great. I've gotten into a few of their titles. Certain ones do have their books where they don't have the advertisements in the middle, so I will try to look for those ones more often. Um, but yeah, yeah, Dark Horse is getting in there. Scout Comics is starting to come more bigger, and what's the other one that's starting to come a little bit more bigger? I forget right now. but I'll think about it later probably. But if you want my opinion in ranking like all the big indie publishers right now, I feel like Image is big, then probably would be Boom Studios, and then maybe Aftershock and what was it? Dark Horse. They're starting to come up there. Volt Comics, yes, I've never actually checked out anything from Volt Comics. My shop doesn't do Volt Comics, so I never actually meant to look into them. And whenever I hear about them, it's like the day they come out, so I always miss out on them and then forget to ask my shop for them, and then actually forget the title in general. So I've never actually read any Volt Comics, but yeah, they're also coming up in there. I feel like the weakest one that no one really talks about is IDW. They have a few good ones here and there that I've looked at. Nothing like I'm crazy about. I feel like they're the weakest link in the as of indie publishers. Um, they haven't really had their biggest breaks yet. What do they do? I think they have like the rights to Transformers and Ghostbusters, which since the movies have been kind of bad lately, I can understand why they haven't been big. But Boom Studios, they have some good stuff here and there. Um, the one issue I think a lot of people have is their relationship to some of the more kiddie products, because they do have some more like kid books there, but I still think they're pretty good. Um, Lock and Key IDW. I never heard of that. Again, IDW is just one that isn't really tossed around whenever I like watch videos about comics or anything. It's kind of under the kind of under people's radar. I think. Oh yeah, Bone Parish. Yes, I forgot about that. Bone Parish is by Boom Studios. That's a great book. I don't really read too many Studios books. What do I read from Boom? Um, I know I read Bone Parish. What was the other one that I read from there? Is I think Firefly is Boom Studios. If I'm not wrong, I think Firefly. That was a good book. I think that ended. I'm not sure. I was behind on that, so I don't know. And then the other Boom book I read are the two Power Rangers series, the Mighty Morphin and Go Go Power Rangers series. I grew up on Power Rangers, and I'm a huge PR fan. So and the comics. If you, I'm gonna say this, and I'm not ashamed. If you were a fan of old day Power Rangers, definitely check out the Boom Studios Power Rangers. If not anything, check out Shattered Grid. If you're a hardcore PR fan or were a hardcore PR fan, this is the book for you. I know the show's kind of been shitty in the past few years. The new season is decent and good, but I definitely recommend checking out the comics if you've ever been a PR fan. What do we got here? Oh, really? That's pretty interesting, actually. I actually was at my shop the other day, and I forget what it was, but I put it on hold because I was saving up my money at the time. But I saw Stephen. I don't know if he wrote it or if it was he was like somehow like involved in it. But I saw some kind of comic or something in relation to Stephen King, so I put it on hold just to check it out. My dad's a big fan of Stephen King. I've watched some of his TV shows, but I've never really been like a into Stephen King. I've watched like Castle Rock, Under the Dome, which had a decent first two seasons, and what was the other one? I think that's it. Oh, and The Mist, which only had one season, which I think was disappointing, but that's beside the point. But yeah, Stephen King, I like his TV shows. Never really gotten into his books there or movies. And he does a lot of like creepy horror film stuff, which really isn't my thing. So I kind of stay away from his stuff, even though it does sound cool. It's just not my taste in stuff like that. But yeah, um, I I've Lock and Key. I might check out. Just since you mentioned it, I might have to check it out. IDW again is something that goes under my radar a lot. But I've been trying to get spread out a bit in comics. Like I said, my big indie books right now are from Image, Aftershock, and Boom Studios. Actually, I've been getting more into Scout comics as well. There are a bunch of Scout comics that I've been having to talk to my shop to get more of. one of the guys actually there has gotten into Scout too, so he's been helping me out and getting some stuff. Um, but yeah, what were some of the two big ones? The two big ones that I've been reading were Zunober, which actually I got to talk to my guy because that comes out. I think it returns in October, which was actually a really good book. I got to talk to him about getting that added to my pull list so I don't miss it. And I think it was Oblivion. But if you look up Oblivion, make sure to put in a 1 and a 10, 1 and a 0 or 8. Sorry, an 8 instead of a I and a 0 because it has certain aspects to that, and that's a really cool book. Oblivion. It's a really cool book. What do we got? Indie comics are way better than DC and Marvel. Last 10 years for me. I haven't read any of the Marvel or DC stuff. Um, But I think the fact that a lot of these indie books are just being picked up for movies and TV deals just shows how much these indie books are big and getting better and great at the moment. Like if you think about it, all these like if I like let me think if I can name off all of them. I'm probably gonna miss a few. You got Killer Be Killed image book, Eclipse image book, East of West an image book, um, Paper Girls an image book that's being made into a TV show. Farmhand being made into a TV show. Gideon Falls TV show. Did I say Skyward? I can't remember. What was another one that I saw recently? Um, Animosity being made into a TV show or movie. Um, what were some of the other ones? I'm probably missing something. But like all these indie books are being made into movies, TV deals and stuff like that. Like you got to keep your eye out on these things cuz like at any minute like they could announce something new. Oh, Oblivion Song's being made into a movie. Almost forgot about that. Like all these things are being made into a movie. Like or TV shows, like you gotta. I feel like you gotta be in on them. At least buy the first issues of some of these, because like even if you don't end up liking them or reading them, you should at least have them in the event that they end up being picked up for something. Because like I remember what was it? I made sure I forget what book it was. Oh, Paper Girls. I only was able to get like the dollar image first for $1, and I'm disappointed because I would have really liked to have the first print. But at this point, since it was picked up for a TV deal, I'll probably end up paying an arm and a leg. So that'll be on the back burner for a bit now for me. But yeah, they have some great titles and indie books. I think you got to get in on them. You gotta. I'm honestly surprised. Oh, what was it? God Country is another one that's being made into a movie. But the reason I just thought about that was I'm surprised more of Donny Cates' books haven't been optioned. Like I'm surprised Redneck hasn't been optioned for a TV deal or Baby Teeth. I'm surprised either one of those haven't been optioned for anything yet. Because those would be probably perfect for TV deals in my opinion. Watch, I'll get off here and see an article saying that they were both made into something. But I don't know. I'm surprised I haven't. You love God Country. I've been meaning to check that out. Um, just kind of trying to save my money right now. I have it in my cart right now on Midtown. I'm just kind of waiting for like a sale or something to maybe order it or something when they have like a big 60% off sale or something. But I definitely will eventually read God Country someday. Um, yeah, Baby Teeth is great. Very long hiatus that they took because I think the last one came out like in end of last year, I think, and then it came out this month. I haven't read it yet, so no spoilers, please. But yeah, definitely excited to get back into Baby Teeth and check out what's going on there because that's a great Donny Cates book. Yeah, I'm surprised more of his stuff hasn't been picked up for stuff, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Um, yeah, but yeah, I think that the indie comic era is beginning. I think DC and Marvel had their time, but right now their time is in the movies. And while DC has struggled, I feel like they're starting to get their feet get their footing, and Marvel is hitting out of the box office. I think their time is movies. DC is slowly getting their footing, and indie is taking over in the form of the comics, and now gonna probably rival probably with movies as well. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that one. What do we got? Yeah, the Donny Cape books that I read, yeah, have been pretty good. They're really great. Um, yeah, I'm just surprised that nothing has been done with them because I think they're really great books, and just surprised that nothing has really happened with them. At least Baby Teeth and Redneck. That's surprising it to me, at least. But you know, I wouldn't be surprised if like down the road one of them or both of them get optioned because I think they do deserve to be optioned or be made into something, whether it be movie, TV. They deserve something because honestly, they're one some of the great. He's one of the greatest writers, and I'm just surprised that nothing's happened for me in that form. But you know, sometimes I look at it and say, you know what, he hasn't gotten something yet, but you know what, good things come to those who wait. If we're patient enough, something might come his way. So that's the way I look at it. Um, so yeah, that's how I look at Donny Cates and stuff like that. He's a great writer, and his time will come if they ever decide to make something of his into a movie or TV show. His time will definitely come. So yeah, there's that. But it's getting late by me, so we might just shut it off soon, David. Might go for like 10 more minutes or whatever, but you know, so get any questions you might or any topics you want to talk about in. It's getting a little late where I am, so just want to pack it up soon. Oh yeah, Colin Bunn and Jeff Lemire. Yeah, there's some great ones too. Um, yeah, I'm surprised Colin Bunn hasn't gotten anything done. Um, I don't know if did it was Bone Parish option for something. I'm not sure. No, I was talking to someone else on YouTube about it. Yeah, I was talking to someone else on YouTube that Bone Parish should be made into a TV show or a movie or something because that's a great book and it should be made into something. So I'm surprised nothing from him has been optioned. I think like with Donny Cates, his stuff will eventually get optioned, just not yet. He has some great stuff. What was it? Cold Spots I could see being made into a movie or miniseries. Bone Parish again. I haven't read his new book that came out from Image. I forget what it is right now. But Jeff Lemire's getting out there. He's got Gideon Falls coming out into a TV series, so which isn't surprising honestly. So that's exciting. I actually don't know if that's a TV series or movie. Last I knew, it was just being optioned, so I don't know what it was optioned for. But yeah, he's definitely getting out there. Um, Top five series that okay, five that are my favorites and top that are five are that are overrated. Um, okay, so I think about this because certain ones are ended, so I don't really want to add them into this one. So some my favorite ones that are going on right now, this is in no particular order. Would probably have to be Animosity is one of them. Um, what's another one that's one of my favorites? It's not over. Animosity. What's the other one? Um, Gideon Falls is good. Man Eaters is good. I know there's a bunch of controversy surrounding that one, but that's a good one. The Realm and what's the fifth one? Um, what's the one that I can't? That I always have to get. I'm thinking. Um, oh, probably Redneck. Probably Redneck would be the last one, and then some that I think are overrated. Probably gonna be uh in the minority here, but I think Oblivion Song is a bit overrated. Um, what's another one I think that's overrated a bit? Um, Oblivion Song. Ooh, that's cool. Um, What's another one? Oblivion Zone I think is overrated. I'm trying to think of some of the other books I read. I can't think of too many that I think that are overrated. Um, Trying to think. Is there any other ones that I think that are overrated at the moment? I said Oblivion Song. It might be just be Oblivion Song, honestly. Because I can't really think of anything else that I'm reading right now that I would say is overrated. Um, at least that is big right now. I'm trying to think that are things that are like big, and people actually talk about. Um, I think Ice Cream Man's a bit overrated. I get why people like it, but I think it's a bit overrated. What's another one that I think is a tad bit overrated? Ice Cream Man. Trying to think. I can't really think of too many that I think are overrated. Batman, yeah, if we're going off of just all comics in general, yeah, Batman could be a bit overrated. um, at least for me, if you want my honest opinion, I could probably put any DC or Marvel character in there and say they're overrated. Because they're just not my cup of tea, and sometimes I just feel like they're a bit overrated. For at least some of them, not all of them, but I think some of them can be a bit overrated. Um, but going back to some of my favorites that have ended, I think some of my favorites that have ended would probably have to be, um, probably of course, Walking Dead. That would be one of my favorites. Paper Girls, and what was the other one that just ended? Oh, and Skyward. Those are some of my other favorites. Oh, and that yeah, those are probably three of the ones that have ended recently that are probably some of my favorites. Um, but yeah, I think for me it's hard to like pick out like at least for me I might be missing something, so I can't really think of something that's overrated at the moment. Other than maybe like Oblivion Song and Ice Cream Man, which Ice Cream Man is good. I wouldn't say it's 100% overrated, but I think it's a tad bit on the overrated side. Um, but yeah, I think if you read DC Vertigo's Pearl, I think that's a bit overrated. I don't get like the hype around that. I think it's a good book, but I kind of think it's a bit overrated. Um, yeah, going back to Oblivion Song, I think it's getting better. At least I'm still a little bit behind on it. It's getting okay, but I just feel like that one was just really overrated. Like I feel like they pushed this big Oblivion Song, and to me it just came out like, yeah, okay. Like it's not like crazy or great, but it's just there, Okay, I don't get the excitement for it, but it's just there. I know that, and Gideon Falls came out around the same time, and I think I liked Gideon Falls more than Oblivion Song. At least that's for me. Um, I think what else are some other good ones or overrated ones? Hmm. Honestly, I can't really think, so I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to just stick with those ones for right now. But I think I'm gonna close out this, David. It was nice hanging out with you. Oh, one more question. Um, you're mad at the guys who are writing Superman. Yeah, I haven't seen what's been going on with Superman, but if you're saying it, I can imagine it's something probably not good. um, but like I said, I think I'm gonna head out for the evening. David, it was fun hanging out with you, talking with you about comics. So thanks for coming out and checking out the live stream. And if you don't mind, just giving it a big thumbs up and share, because that always helps out the channel. Yeah, pisses you off a bit. Yeah, I can get. I always hate when the writers do stuff that annoys me. Yeah, that always sucks. Yeah, but again, thanks for coming to hang out, and it was good to talk about comics and all that stuff. Always fun to do that. So I'll see you in next time, um, or in the next live stream or in the comment section of an upcoming video. So thanks again for checking out the channel, and I'll see you next time.